Post. Add everyone. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the midweek finale at Bahrain. You don't see this track too often being the finale of a championship, but here we are. I am your host, Gord Sauce, and not to brag, but the midweek champion who's going to be hosting the final race of the season for you guys because haven't had a lot of streams in midweek. Jesper, my co-host for tonight, say hello.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
back in the seat.
yeah. Jesper did almost half the season for us at the start of the season. He was pretty consistent, and then had personal things come up. Wasn't able to do the streams very often. In the past 6 races, we haven't had a stream, so definitely worthy for the midweek boys to also get a stream in. So I wanted to stream the final race of the season if no one else was, but Jesper has joined me in the booth, so it should be a fun little stream. And I mean, I can take a look at the standings because I'm not 100% sure what is currently at stake. Let me take a look. So drivers is set, constructors for the first position. It's pretty close between Red Bull and Ferrari for the second place constructors seat, 517 to 505. Alfa Romeo's decently close at 454. So, AlphaTauri and Aston Martin are really close as well, 2 points separating them for the constructors. So the constructors for certain positions is up for grabs. Hoop, our man, is 29 points down from P2 in the championship. So Carson is not racing, so I believe Hoop has told me he needs to get P4 or P5 with fastest lap. So there are some decently quick drivers racing tonight. Obviously, Cashew is the one to look out for. We have Bass racing, we have Hoop racing, we have Ramsey racing, who just got in. We have Craig from Tier 2. So lots of drivers that are going to contest Hoop for that P2 in the championship, but obviously he's going to give it his all. Hopefully he's been putting in some practice. But yeah, I mean, those are the talking points as of now. We have a couple people in the stream. Nice to see. So if anyone has any questions, I don't know. Yeah, it was the first week of, it was the first day of testing. Did you watch it, Jesper?
I watched a few minutes. Oh, I can hear myself.
Oh, okay.
That's weird. But yeah, I watched a few minutes. I've seen all the cars. The V carve is not looking very good. The renders look very good, but the car on track, no.
Yeah, it's not... Like, I like the bright colors. I'm glad that it's all, like, it's not just carbon. I do like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that steak green in the sun is bright. I like it. Just the black and the really bright green. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I did kind of an X-Melody and had a... At first I was like, oh my god, it's looking good. And then I started to feel like, well, it's a little bit like F123.
Yeah, like my team library.
Yeah, but on the track it actually looks quite alright.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What I mean, I watched I think the first hour and a bit of it. I mean, from what I saw, the Red Bull looks pretty quick, but obviously a lot of the teams didn't really do any sort of push laps. Like I know Merc literally only did long runs. I think Ferrari was just like testing the tires. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
they've struggled with the tire wear for a few
yeah.
years now. So.
Yeah, we got 15 drivers in so far. I do believe we're supposed to have 17 with the final check-ins. Let me take a look. Oh, now we're at 15, so I guess a couple people may have backed out, so we may be at the numbers. that we're needed for. Oh, and we're starting up. All right.
Yeah, Bahrain. Very
Oh,
difficult track in terms of
I
setup.
think your mic may be having a little bit of like a spasm.
Oh
It's
no.
going like yeah. Maybe I'll just unplug mine as well, just in case.
This is better?
Better yet.
Okay. Um, well, what as I was saying, Bahrain is a very tricky track when it comes to setup because you want the straight line speed, but you
But you
also
also
need
want,
a
yeah.
lot of downforce for sector end of sector 1 and start of sector 2.
Yeah, a lot of people get surprised like how different the setup's going to be here. I'm trying to remember because I think I've only raced this track in League twice in the entirety of 2023. So I think my setup was like 36-30. Like it was kind of like middle ground where like I got a little bit of bite for aero, but my top end was like decent. But I
Yeah.
can see drivers that are really like good with the car. Like I could see Cashew running like a low downforce setup because he's going to be able to really make that car work. So he might run like I don't know mid 20s for the aero, maybe a high 20s.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, I'm curious what the difference in setups are going to be. You can really tell during the race. Like you'll be able to see drivers pick up like crazy speed in certain areas, and then the drivers with the top end are just going to fly down the main straight. So,
Yeah.
for the constructors for P2, it's not looking good for Red Bull because they've only got one driver.
Yeah,
Ferrari
Mr.
has
Torres.
two. Yeah, Ferrari have two. Alfa Romeo have two as well. So if Ines and Hoop have good results and the Ferraris don't, they could actually maybe sneak P2 in the constructors. Thinking, yeah. And are there any Alpha Tauris racing? There are
Yeah,
two.
Cashew.
Canuck and Cashew. Okay, because it's really close between Aston Martin and Alpha Tauri as well. So Canuck and Cashew versus Ramsey and Bass. That's quite the heavyweight tilt. And
Yeah,
speaking of the Red Bull,
Bass.
the only driver on track is to Mr. Tar Heels. Doesn't Tar Heels usually go out for like one run and then like doesn't do any runs? I feel like I've seen that in Tier 2 a lot where he's done like he's always the first one out, does one run and then doesn't go out again.
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it, but maybe. I mean, you do save a lot of tires with it.
So yeah, that's the bat. Okay, so for the drivers, I haven't paid attention to much else. Ace is Ace racing? Ace is racing, right? Yeah, Ace is racing. So Larodri isn't racing, so he's actually going to pass Larodri if he finishes anywhere in the 15 positions, or not 15 positions. I think he's got to finish like top 12 or something. So Ace is probably going to take P4 in the championship. Hoop is the one really to watch. He's got to get P4 or P5 with fastest lap. And for the constructors, it's between Red Bull and Ferrari. And then, I mean, Alfa Romeo, if they have a really good race, can maybe jump to P2, and then AlphaTauri and Aston Martin are kind of duking it out. They could also pass Alfa Romeo, so still some decent constructors to watch out. But Mr. Tar Heels, the first to start his first flying lap, we're going to stay on board with the man as he enters the tricky Sector 1. And Ines has retired. I guess he's starting from the back of the grid because I don't see any yellows on track.
Has also left the session.
Oh, he's left the session. That's not good. Maybe he retired because he left the session. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Eventually.
Mr. Tar Heels in the middle of Sector 2, that tricky right-hander as we head to turn 10. There is a Mercedes in front of him, but it gets out of the way. Good stuff. Into the second DRS straight. This DRS straight, honestly, like it's a long DRS straight, but it really doesn't do much during racing. Like you really have to be close to the person in front of you to even like attempt to make a move. It's really, if anything, I feel like the sector 3 straight before the main straight gets more passes than the second
Yeah.
DRS straight.
The second DRS straight is good for setting up moves into
Hmm.
onto this straight or the first straight. But yeah, it's not really a straight where you make a move unless it's the final lap.
Yeah. Mr. Tar Heels is about to finish this lap. Looks like it's going to be a 130. Pretty solid lap. 130.4. Good lap from Tar Heels in the Red Bull. Sets the stage. Looks like the okay, so it's a Mercedes, but Kyle has not started his lap. So it looks like it's the Williams next. Ace has not started his lap. Is it Salatosser? Salatosser, the next one to finish
Yes.
his lap in the Haas. The
That's
Haas
not good for Haas.
machine. Through the final corner he goes. This looks like it's going to be a 131. Ooh, just under it. A 130.7 for the Haas, man. Next we have a McLaren. That is only one driver, Mr. Lordson Rab. A 130.6, so pretty close so far. We have an AlphaTauri. Is that Northern Canuck? Yes, it is. 130.1. And then next is an Alfa Romeo. It is a Mr. Bass. Oh my god, Bass has not used like any ERS here. A 130.34. Oh my god, and he did it on the fucking hard tire. What a
Yeah, that's
mad lad.
impressive.
I didn't realize that. You sick dog. Dr. J, a 133.1. That was probably a little bit of an error on his part, so he's probably going to improve on that. Mr. Craig will stay on board in the other Ferrari, reserving for that Ferrari team. Ooh, goes a bit wide in turn one. That's definitely not going to help him on that lap. Didn't invalidate, though, so he continues through the
Casual
first
was
DRS
that
zone. I'm
I
curious,
think they choose
is
to start last, so that may have been why.
Ein said that?
It's Kyle. Cashew.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, true. Cashew did say he was going to start last. And Mr. Kyle in the Mercedes and Ace Edge in the Williams. A
26.
129.7 takes provisional pole. And I mean, obviously, if Mr. Bass is going to attempt to go for a lap on the soft tire, lots of pace in that machine if he goes for it. So we'll go back to Craig, who is continuing his lap, about to enter Sector 3, this tricky, fast-flying S section. Right before it, try and take as much curb as you can on the outside. Gotta really like push the car as much as you can because you gain so much time through just exiting the corner with as much speed as you can. So Mr. Craig, coming off his maiden Tier 2 win, looks like it's going to be a 132, a 132.4 for Craig. Definitely time to improve on him. He's much quicker than that. And I think Ramsey is about to start his lap, so we'll stay on board with him because I don't think anybody else is going for a lap. Kyle is coming behind him. Bass, I think, is actually going for another lap on those hards. Interesting. Let's see if he improves. So we'll stay on board with Ramsey because he's on the soft tire. Oh, takes that corner as wide as he can. He is going maximum for this corner as he enters Sector 2, up 4 seconds on his time. He set a 150 through 8. The game's telling me a purple Sector 1. I never trust the game when it tells me that, so can't really tell. But if it is a purple sector, it is Ramsey, so I wouldn't be too surprised as he enters tricky Sector 10. Oh my god, he took that perfectly. I didn't see a wobble come out of the car there. Going through the Sector 2 DRS straight. Takes as much curb as he can on the outside. Takes it on the inside. About to enter Sector 3. How much time is he going to be up? 20 seconds, so that is already a 133 if we're doing the math. So he's probably going to set up not as much time as he did through Sector 2, because I remember him stopping in Sector 2, but here he comes down the final straight. It's going to be a 129. 129 to 5/10 on Ace Edge. That is your strong provisional pole. Is Bass up on his time? No, he is not. His car is wobbling all over the place. I think Bass is just practicing right now.
Yeah, it does look like it.
He looks like he just slapped on the hards. Yeah, he is using ERS now. I think he's just putting in some practice laps, which is fair enough for him. We do have an AlphaTauri. Mr. Cashew said he was starting from the rear, but it doesn't look like it. He's on a lap. We'll stay on board with him. Through the turn 1 and turn 2 section of the track, probably one of the lowest grip sections of any track in the game. Like, it is a ridiculously slippery part of the track, even on this game, where traction is pretty solid all around. Like, I remember when I was learning no traction control on F122. Oh, man. I think I spent like 2 hours just nailing that section. It was brutal.
Yeah, that section, ever since F122, has been a literal hell. Obviously, this game, it's a little bit easier, still very, very tricky.
It's still very tricky, absolutely.
Although I would say turns like turn 1 and 2 in Vegas is a lot more slippery.
Ooh, yeah.
Chicane in Vegas. So there are a few that are a little bit trickier, but it's definitely one of the trickier corners.
I think the Vegas chicane, it's like, it's not tricky, it's just the car doesn't feel like it wants to turn at all.
Yeah.
I think Cashew was about to set the pole position there because he came into the pit lane at like a 128.9.
Yeah.
So that looked like it may have been pole position, but he comes in anyway just to set his lap. Ramsey spun.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he went out so early already. Ace actually improved. I just noticed this, a 129.5. He was at a 129.7. So a decent little improvement for him. And apart from Ramsey, no one else is on the... I mean, technically Jesper already did his shoey, Craig. So, I mean, I guess I'd have to do my shoey, even though I don't want to. But Jesper technically has already done his.
Yeah, I had to do a double shoey after winning. I mean, I did win a triple last season. But
yeah, you won Champions Cup, you won Tier 1, and you won the Constructors.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season. I can't deny that.
hard to beat that. I'm on board with Lordson Rab. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. I feel like I'm pronouncing it correctly. But he is the only man on a fast lap right now, I believe, apart from Hoop. I think Hoop just started his, so we'll go back to him just after we finish with Lord's final flying lap. He is really low on ERS. Like, he is probably gonna... Sounds like I'm pronouncing it right. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It sounds like I'm pronouncing it right. Oh, and Lords is up 6/10 too. He's gonna lose so much time through this final sector because he's got no ERS. Oh, that's tragic. Up 6/10. That would put him P4. Is he going to box, or is he just going to continue with the lap if he's got enough time? And I think he's got enough time in it to still make an improvement. Yeah, up 4/10. He probably would have gained another 2/10 if he actually had ERS. But jumps up to P3. Jumps Kyle Fan. So, he is currently P3 in the McLaren, the only McLaren in the race. We got to go back to Hoop, because Hoop is one of the only drivers with driver standing stakes. Two purples. I mean, I don't like to trust the game.
That's why I'm adding the allegedly, because
allegedly.
I don't trust it at all.
I think the game likes to put purple sectors if it's your own purple sectors. I mean, a 131, that's still really quick. Puts him P4 on his first lap. Funnily
just
enough,
behind
Hoop, yeah, Hoop literally just like got into the session like a couple minutes ago. So, despite if he wanted to or not, he is going to have an extra pair of softs to go into the race because he doesn't have enough time to do 2 more runs. I
Yeah,
think Kyle just started his lap, so we'll stay on board with the man who is currently in my seat.
it did,
Whether
but it did go deep in turn one, so he will have lost some time.
oh, purple sector
Asking.
up 2 tenths. Wow. That already puts him up to P3 if he holds that time, and there's still a lot of track left.
Yeah, into the tricky turn 9, 10.
Yep. Nails
Where
it,
we
though.
saw.
No bobble from the car at all. He's gonna not really get any. I mean, he maybe could have got a little bit of slipstream from Hoop if he decided to like try and ride his butt on the inside, but probably a better idea just to stick to your line.
Yeah,
Tricky
you will lose more
section.
time going side to
Yeah,
side.
exactly. He's up 6 tenths. Oh my
That's
god, that
very
might
good.
he might catch Ace if he gains a little bit more time. Can he do it? It's going to be his final run of qualifying. He won't have enough time to do another one, but it looks really strong through the final section. Can he improve past Ace? Oh,
It does.
just by a tenth, up 7 tenths throughout the entire lap. Fantastic lap from Kyle in the Mercedes. Craig's just coming out of the pit lane. I believe
Kyle.
Gwen is not continuing his lap. I think he had a little bit of an error. 2 tenths down. He should be able to come in and put on another pair of. Ooh, actually, it's gonna be really close.
He could probably get that turn around if it doesn't get held up.
Yeah, if his teammate isn't in the pit lane, no, he should be good. Hopefully, he doesn't block his teammate from getting out. He would have. Yeah, he has to leave the pit lane by like what 150 probably, just to get out of the
Yeah,
pit
around
lane.
that. Krieg is pushing like crazy. And is off track, but manages to keep it legal.
He's up 4 tenths. That's what he needs to get closer to the pack in front of him. Through the final corner.
Will have
He,
lost some time though.
yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely lost a lot of time through that. Oh, he slides into the. Oh, he slides into the pit. Doesn't. Unfortunate. I think yeah, he took the final corner way too slowly there. I think he was a little bit too cautious. I'm on board with Northern right now. I think he might be one of the only drivers on a fast lap. Yeah, I think Dr. J is the nearest driver, and he's a couple corners back. I'm liking the helmet, Mr. Canuck. I love helmets that match the car livery. I always do that. I love it. A plus from me, Canuck. I love the helmet. Will the helmet give you a little bit more speed, though? That's the question. As we come through the final corner, take it as wide as you can. Here he comes. I think it's going to be an improvement. 130? 132 puts him up to P7. Great lap from the AlphaTauri driver. Ramsey's on a lap. I'm just going to see Dr. J finish his lap before. Oh, Dr. J's 8 tenths down, so never mind on that. GK Bass in the other Aston Martin, a little bit further behind his teammate. He is put on the softs, so we're going to see what kind of pace Bass has. Ramsey's up 2 tenths already. Going into turn 10. Oh, he goes a little deep. He's got a Haas doing some little jiggles for him right in front of him. Through turn 12, he goes through sector 3. What is the timing going to be? Up 4 tenths. Ramsey putting in a hell of a lap here. It's going to be a 128. Lord is still holding P4, but it's gonna be close. Everyone's going out for their final runs. Oh, Ramsey bottled it on the final corner. No, Ramsey. Is GK gonna steal it because of that?
Yes, he is.
Oh
Because
yeah,
he
he is
was
flying. Oh, a
there it is,
128.5 and Bass steals it because Ramsey bins it on the last corner. Ramsey's gonna be so upset at himself there. That pushes everybody down one position. Ace Edge going
Yeah.
through Sector 1 is down just 600, so still time to improve and maybe pass Kyle. So many cars to watch. I'm going to go car by car here. Tar Heels is the car furthest ahead. Oh, Tar Heels is invalidated, so we're going to go back. Actually, we haven't followed Ace, so we're going to follow Ace for one full lap here. Very low on fuel, and then we'll jump. I think that's Craig right behind him. Followed by, I believe that's Gwen. Ace Edge up 2/10. He might be able to get by Ramsey. Oh, if Ramsey drops to P3, he's even going to be more mad at himself. Can Ace steal P2 from Ramsey? Through the final corner, a little bit of a bobble. Down the final straight, is he going to steal it? Oh, he doesn't. Off by 800ths, but steals P3 from Kyle. Gwen on his final lap, he's up a little bit of time. Does not. He does improve by 2/10, but that's not enough. Hoop does not improve, and that is your final qualifying order. GK Bass. Internal investigation incoming on the reserves put into the admin's cars. That's a good one, Vinny. But that is your pole sitter, GK Bass, reserving with some speed. I think Cashew is going to have an actual competitor in GK and even Ramsey, because Ramsey bottled pole. He was up nearly 4/10 through Sector 2 ending, and he had a whole sector to improve, and then bottled it at the end. So this is your final qualifying order. GK Bass, as we said, pole sitter. Aston Martin, a 1-2 on the grid. Great start from them. Ace Edge showing strong pace as well in the Williams P3. Kyle taking my seat in the Mercedes, a 129.5 puts in P4. Lord holds P5 in the McLaren. Gwen in the Haas P6. Hoop in P7 puts him in a strong position to be able to try and get up to P4 and take P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Northern Canuck P8, Tar Heels P9, and Salad Tosser rounds out the grid in the top 10. And I wasn't able to get to everybody else, but I will get to them. I think it was Dr. J 11th. I do remember that. Ramsey, I know you're in this chat. I know you're upset at yourself for that spin. I know you're listening, buddy. We caught it. We caught it on stream, too. You're going to hate yourself watching it back.
Yeah, you had Dr. J in P11, Craig P12, Dutch 13, Ines P14, and then the way of a cashew in P15.
15th. He won't be staying there for long, though. I don't think Hines will either.
I have a small feeling that he will go up into the top 10 by...
You said lap 5, right?
Well, I said something about lap 5, but that was podium, I think.
You said podium by lap 5.
Have
Look,
you seen his pace?
I know Cashew's fast, but 5 laps up 12
Have
positions.
you seen his pace in Tier 1?
I have. I raced him in midweek. The first time he showed up, he fucking stomped us at Brazil.
Exactly.
Look, I'm just saying he is going to be racing Hines, and Hines is really quick as well. So he's got someone back there that will actually, like, not just get blown by. But, you know, he's also got to survive the race, too. He can't just...
That is true. The risk is that he gets into some sort of issue. Obviously, when you are faster like that, it can be difficult at times.
Because obviously your breaking point is going to be way later than most people. Yeah, I mean, he did only win by 5 seconds, Ramsey, but he, like... You could tell that he wasn't going to get past, like... And then he's, like, shown up to Tier 1 races, and, I mean, he would have beat Morris by, like, 10 seconds if he didn't underfuel. Yeah, he was probably coasting a bit. because the tires do not like Brazil very much. They're kind of rough there, so he was probably just coasting a little bit, just not trying to get any time penalties. But enough about the past races. You never watched the stream while racing, so let's see how much it's It's really distracting, Ramsey. Like, I would suggest just, like, having the race on in the background, or don't have it on in the background, but just listen to it. Because I think listening to it is way less distracting than actually trying to watch it. Because if you try and watch it, yeah, it's not a good idea. But listening to it shouldn't be too bad. It's basically like just... It's like Jesper listening to Disney music while he races, you know?
I mean, I've done that since I was about, well, gaming with music since I was like 10, and racing.
Hey man,
with music
I'm not shouting you.
16.
Disney music is fire, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's too just like depends on the game. Like F1, I feel like I have to concentrate so much that just listening to music is just a no-go. But like other games, like, I don't know, if I'm playing GTA, yeah, sure.
I find it so funny that, like, someone like you have to sweat so much, and then I'm in bed with music, chilling, and we're still battling the track. It's so fun.
Shows our two different styles of racing. You won your championship, so you're like, you know what? I can just chill out now.
The funny thing is, I won the championship lying in bed.
Exactly. You've proven yourself now.
Yeah. Just imagine what I could do if I actually tried.
I mean, hey. I know you said you're not going to get F1 24 because it's probably going to be on the next-gen console. Oh, we'll continue this conversation in a bit. Lights are going out. 5 red lights. The Aston Martins lead the way. And they are off. Let's get this stuff up real quick.
Oh, Bass had a small slide on the second part of traction.
Oh, everybody's rather clean. Oh, somewhat. Little bit of bumping and banging, but we're through. Cashew up 2 positions. Hines has not been able to make up. We'll throw up the position changes as the decal just for a little bit. The top 5 stay even. Ramsey is under pressure from Ace and he's around. I don't know if he got spun there. Ace was really close to the back of that Aston Martin. Oh, and a little bit of chaos at the back, but everyone's single file. I'm not sure what happened to Ramsey. It kind of like Ace was so close to the car, but I didn't really catch it in time. But now GK Bass building a 1.6 gap already. Ramsey at the back of the field. He's not going to be happy about it, but he's got the pace to catch up, and he is on the hard tire. So he's just got to calm down a little bit, get his head back into the game, and just focus on this very long race left to go. And Kyle is actually... Oh boy. Kyle is up 2 positions, but he is under pressure from Ace. Ace on the inside, no contact. Good stuff, boys. Keep it clean. Ace is pushing with that ERS. He's almost at half already. Lord a little bit further behind, and Mr. Hoop in P5. 1 position back of where he needs to be to grab P2 in the championship. He's just got to keep the car clean. Cashew and Craig battling hard here. Craig holds him off. Fantastic defending from the Ferrari driver. And we have a spin.
Has been side by side through the whole of Sector 1. Finally sorting themselves out.
So many battles to watch. Oh, Ace goes really wide. I think he just took in too much speed there, and Lord is on the outside. Hoop is trying to get by on those medium tires. So they go into turn 10.
Oh, don't hit each other.
No contact. Gwen goes wide. Gwen had nowhere to go. He slammed on the brakes too hard. Loses a little bit of time. And Ace now down 2 positions. He goes on the inside of Lord. No contact. Lord gets the better run out of the corner, and he holds the position while GK Bass in the Aston Martin up 3.8 seconds already.
Yeah, Bass has checked out.
Cashew made up 6 positions in the first lap and hasn't moved up since. He's fighting some of the quicker drivers now, and because of the DRS, has not been able to make any moves. Who is going into the pit? Is that Ace?
Yes, it
That
is.
is Ace on the hard tire. I'm curious why he's gone into the pits. It didn't look like his car had damage. So Kyle gets a little bit of a break being not pushed around the track by Ace. Lord jumps up to P3. Hoop up to P4. That's where he wants to be. Obviously, he wants to be a little bit further up. The more points he gets, the better. Oh, and he gets a really good run on the inside. Fantastic helicopter angle to see that. And of course, Northern Canuck and Cashew now up to P7. He managed to get by Craig, but he's got a 4-car DRS train ahead of him. It's going to make it really difficult for him to make moves. It does look like he is on the soft tire. So it looks like Ace has gone to mediums here. I'm curious what his strategy is. I'm not sure. He probably had damage.
Yeah, front wing damage for Ace Edge, so he's probably going medium to the end.
Yeah. Cashew with a great run on Gwen, side by side through the S section, but those soft tires are still way better on pace. He jumps up to P6 behind his teammate Northern Canuck. Don't think Canuck's going to hold him up too much here, but he is going to have a DRS train to help him defend if he decides it. Kyle 5 seconds back of Bass, but 2 seconds ahead of Lord, who is under pressure from Hoop, who is trying to secure P2 in the Drivers' Championship. He's got a good run. He's using ERS. He gets by. He's still on the inside, so he's going to have to brake a little bit earlier. Keeps the car planted on the inside, holds the position. That is Hoop up in the final podium position. Lord is going to have another run at him, though. Is he going to decide against it? No, yes he does. Cashew up to P5 on the soft tire, but he's probably going to have to go soft hard or maybe soft medium, not sure. We have a spin at the back. I think that's Hines again. Hines has not been enjoying his race so far. And Ace is actually pitted again. Has he pitted again? I think he has. And Gwen is thrown on the mediums as well. So maybe they can provide DRS. Interesting. Cashew going for a move on Lord. It's not going to be super hard with those soft tires. And now is chasing down a Hoop for that final podium position, but still lots of racing to go.
Maybe I should have said podium by lap 5 because he's already up to P4.
He's already up to P4. He's not, I mean, he could get it on lap 5 because Hoop does not have DRS to help him defend. Kyle is just a little bit too far ahead. He's not going to have to burn much, though, because Cashew is just inside DRS. We do have a couple of cars squabbling at the back. Yeah, Ramsey's already up to P10. After his spin, he's about to get P9 as he goes by Craig on the soft tires. Craig low on ERS, side by side, lots of space given. Ramsey gets the better run, and he is now up to P9. A solid recovery so far for Ramsey, but still lots of racing to go.
We know Craig is one of those guys who's very good at defending, but couldn't quite do it.
Just didn't have enough ERS to Ramsey, who was able to hold it a little bit longer than Craig has. A little bit of a lockup for Lord there. Cashew pressuring Hoop here.
Yeah, Cashew's slide out of 8.
Cashew's going to be really close here. I think he's going to be able to make the DRS work on this on this second straight. He's going to be right behind Hoop. Actually, he decides against it. Shows how either Hoop's got a better straight line or Cashew is just being a bit more patient. But I tell you what, Bass with a 6.3 second gap to Kyle. I think he's going to want to build as big as a gap as he can, because as of right now, I still think Cashew may be slightly quicker as he does get by Hoop on the final straight through the final corner. Cashew with a 9-second gap to build to get to Bass. Can he do it? Will things change? The Ferrari's at the back here with Dutch. Dutch holding P10. He doesn't have... Oh, he does have DRS, actually. Craig was the one who didn't have DRS, so he gets by. My main man, Dutch, in the other Mercedes. Fantastic teammate throughout the entirety of midweek. And Ramsey has actually gotten by Salad Tosser. We didn't catch that one. But he is now up to P8 trying to chase down Tar Heels, who is on the same tire compound. And Ace and Gwen fighting at the back. I saw the positions change. Hopefully they're not fighting too much and using DRS to help each other out, get back to the field. Because, I mean, I still think they're going to need a safety car to get back into this race.
Ace and Gwenpro is actually fighting. Ace is going defensive into turn 4.
Yeah, they're battling. I know they're basically the exact same pace, these two, so obviously if one person makes a mistake, the other person's going to be wanting to make a move, but they do need to work together.
Yeah, otherwise they are just going to fight for P14 and 15.
Yep. And Cashew has actually not made any more ground on Kyle. He's still at that 3-second gap, and now he's going to pull Hoop and Lord along with him. So it looks like those soft... Actually, you can tell Cashew lost almost 3/10, or almost 4/10 on the straight to Kyle and GK. So Cashew looks like he's going to be... he might be running a much lower or a much higher downforce setup than the cars in front of him. He's able to gain a lot through the corners, but that final straight is costing him a lot.
Yeah, Cashew actually lost half a second last lap.
Yeah, so it looks like those... Oh, what a big lockup as we say that. Looks like those soft tires are starting to run their course a little bit, and this is really good for Hoop and Lord. If they're able to stay within DRS, they'll be able to pick off Cashew. If they can stay within DRS, Hoop has a bad exit. Lord is right behind him. Hoop is still going to get the DRS. Hoop's definitely going to want to try and get within DRS of Cashew here, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull 4/10 until we get to the main straight. So now Hoop is on the defensive against Lord.
Oh, goes a little bit deep into that corner as well.
He's got to push ERS even before the finals or the main straight. Lord is going to have, I think, an easy overtake here if he gets a good exit. Those hards maybe starting to become the best tire on track. We do have a yellow flag. I think that's...
Be medium for a couple of laps.
Yeah. And Lord is side by side with Hoop here. Is Hoop going to try and maybe get the switch back, or is he just going to let it go? I think he's going to let it go for now. And as we say this, Ramsey is up to P6. He's gotten by Northern Canuck, and he's only 3.8 seconds off P5 and P4 with his spin. So if anything, Ramsey may be the quickest driver on track considering how quickly he's caught up to the field, and he is on the hard tire, so he's going to be on the better tire compared to everyone else in front of him apart from Kyle.
Yeah, Ramsey doing a 33.5 compared to GK Bass doing a 33.9 last lap. So Ramsey is definitely
shows the pace, and Bass is still probably on the slightly quicker tire right now. Cashew has taken off a lot from Kyle here, though, up to 1.2 seconds. He was 3 seconds off a couple laps ago. So Cashew was able to put a little bit more pace into those softs, but by lap 10, I don't think they're going to be very good. He's still got a lot of ERS as well, so he hasn't burned too much of it. Kyle ahead, 52 as well.
I think Kyle made a mistake. He did a 34.8 last lap, which is
Ooh, yeah,
Not very
that's
good lap time.
yeah. He's lost like a second to Bass. He was around 6.5 seconds. So Cashew is within DRS now. I think Hoop is just letting Lord drag him around a little bit. Lord may be a bit quicker. No. Okay, yes. The camera angle on that looked like Hoop was going for the move. Oh, Hoop may actually get a really good run here.
Oh, has a
Oh,
little
and
bit of a slide against him
Craig,
too.
he does, but he still has a pretty good run. He's not pushing it though. He still maybe makes the move. Nope. Decides
Has a little
against it.
look.
Oh, a little bit of a slide there. Craig, as we just saw, gets a 5-second speeding penalty in the pit lane. Looks like the pit stops for the medium drivers are starting, as well as the soft runners.
I think
And
Hoop is starting to
Ace,
struggle on those mediums.
yeah, and Ace just gets by Hines 4P11. Gwen still right behind him. Hines had to slam on the brakes there. He almost got into the back of the Williams. Gives a free overtake for Gwen as Ace and Gwen. Oh, and Ace has a big moment coming out of turn. I think that's 5. He came across the track at a big moment. Thankfully, Gwen was able to react in time and didn't collide with him. So that is P11 for Gwen and P12 for Ace. These two still battling it out at the back. A 4-car field starting to form. We'll go back to Lord and Hoop here because Hoop is pretty close. He gets a good run out of the
Cashew.
final corner. Oh, and Cashew on
Cashew.
Kyle gets the pass done well before the first corner. And now that 7.2 second gap between Cashew and Bass. No cars between them. Hoop
Yeah, but
battling with
those
Lord.
softs.
I think Lord may have had a little bit of a moment. Hoop gets by, and there is Ramsey lurking, the other Aston Martin, seeing these two battle, licking his chops. Tar Heels going side by side with Canuck. Oh, a little bit of contact, but still enough room. Canuck pushing the ERS side by side. This is a tricky corner to go side by side in, but Canuck makes the move. Very strong move from the AlphaTauri driver. Holds back P7.
Yeah, very
Ramsey,
clever from Tar Heels to back out of that as well.
yeah, that's a rough corner to go 2x2 in. Ramsey now in DRS range of the 2 cars ahead of him. Hoop on the medium tire, Lord on the hard tire. So Hoop's tires are probably a bit weaker than the 2 hard runners behind him, but he is pushing. Cashew's pace has evened out to Bass about now. It's 7.2 seconds. The mediums should be a bit stronger. And I think by lap 12 or 13, Cashew may go onto the hard tire. Maybe the medium tire. Who knows? You can see the time he loses to Bass on the straight. He was at 7.1 seconds. Now it's 7.3. Oh, and a big lockup for Kyle there. He got really close to the back of Cashew there. And Ramsey's making a move on Lord. Gets it done. That is 1 car down. Next is Hoop, but he is actually technically out of DRS, but he did have the second DRS detection zone on his side. Brings him back within.
I also think that Ramsey was clever enough to overtake Lord after the detection point into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you don't want to be battling going into the second DRS zone, because if Hoop is able to pull a little bit of a gap. Oh, and Kyle has left the session. Hopefully Canuck is listening to the stream and is able to get him an invite. I do believe Canuck is in a pretty intense battle right now, though, so it's going to be hard for him to get him an invite.
I'll try.
Because it's usually only the host that's able to send the invites. That's the problem.
Not always.
At least from what I've noticed, I've never been able to invite people that I see lag out. The gap to Cashew and Bass slightly shrinked, 6.9 seconds, but definitely not enough.
Bass is in. Bass is in from the lead.
Bass is in. He goes in for a undercut, and Cashew follows. Kyle obviously does not. He's out of the session. No one else follows, and Bass goes onto the soft tire.
Cashew
Cashew
Hearts.
onto the hard. So Cashew going all the way, and I think Bass is going for a two-stopper here. And he is coming out right side by side with Tar Heels and Canuck. Canuck way onto the outside. Bass, I mean, they're soft tires, but you still got to get them warmed up a little bit. Cashew a little bit further back is under pressure from Dutch. He's got to get those tires warmed up just a little bit. So your net leader of the race is Kyle, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to get invited back into the session. So
Yeah, I've
that
sent him a
gap that
friend
he's
request.
the gap that he's built to Hoop is not big enough. Hoop definitely very under pressure from Ramsey. Lord just sticking within DRS, and then Bass 5 seconds behind. Under pressure from Tar Heels a little bit here. Tar Heels trying not to get out of DRS. Northern Canuck just behind, and then Cashew a straight further, followed by Dutch. And Dr. J and the Ferrari rounding out the top 10. Ace, Gwen, and Salatosser. Ace is being chased down by two Hosses here. Goes onto the inside to the defend, goes back to the racing line. Gwen not close enough to make a move. He's pulling his teammate along, though. Salatosser is on the newer tires, though. Oh, and
Hoop squeeze into the
Hoop!
pit lane.
Tragedy for Hoop having a fantastic race, trying to get P4 in the race, gets a speeding penalty. And it looks like he's going medium, so he's going to go probably for softs at the end, because he's probably going to go for fastest lap and try and get P5, but that 5-second penalty is tragic. Ramsey now only 2.8 seconds back from Kyle. Kyle still not in the session. Craig, the first driver to get a time limit penalty for track limits.
Yeah, it's not a very heavy track limits
Yeah,
track.
it's not too bad here.
Of course, when you're pushing for 29 laps,
Yeah.
you may get a warning or two.
Absolutely. You always want to avoid the penalties if you can. So Ramsey and Lord, I think, are going to be in for mediums relatively soon. It should be within the next 2 or 3 laps. And Bass has already closed that 5-second gap down to 1.2. He will get DRS on this main straight, and I do believe Bass may be running a slightly lower downforce setup. So he may have a really good run on Lord. Lord is going to have DRS to defend himself, though. But I don't think it's going to be worth it. Bass with the fastest lap. That is the fastest lap so far that Hoop will have to beat. 131.776. Side by side, Bass is just going to have so much more grip through here. Gets it done. Second DRS detection point. Kyle just losing too much time through here because he's not in the session.
Yeah, that 40 AI is not going to help him.
Bass does make it fair and actually passes the AI that's ghosted, actually passing him as if he was there. And now Bass, the nearest driver to him, is Ramsey, and Ramsey has yet to pit, so Ramsey has still had a fantastic comeback drive, but it still shows how further behind he is from his teammate. But obviously Bass putting on the sauce, he's going to have to go for another pit stop. Don't think Ramsey is going to make this too difficult. No, he does not. Bass, you're new and back to the lead of the race. Cashew just gets by his teammate Northern Canuck. Kyle is still not in the session and is still getting passed by Lord here. So Lord jumps up to P3. Tar Heels in P5. A strong drive from him tonight. Cashew just behind Tar Heels, 0.6 back. Northern Canuck just out of DRS of his teammate. And Dutch 7 seconds back of them, being chased down by Hoop, who has that 5-second time penalty. He will be able to get that penalty removed because he is going to be going for another pit, and Canuck into the pit lane. He is probably going to throw on the hard tire. I assume so, because he does have to change compound.
Unless they do an electric days and just go medium until the end from Las Vegas.
Did he act? Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he boxed on the final lap.
And I remember now Ace has gotten passed by both Haas's. Salad Tosser got past his teammate Gwen, and Gwen holding back Ace. So Ace has had quite the tilt with these two Haas's for most of the race.
Yeah, and
Obviously,
Salatos is probably gonna get away now. Much fresher tires than Gwen in
yeah,
Asage.
but he did pit on lap 9, so those mediums by the end of the race are not going to be very strong. And I assume Gwen and Ace are going to pit for softs in the coming laps here.
Yeah, I would box around lap 19.
Hmm. So checking the closest battles, Cashew coming up to the ghosted car of Kyle. He's going to get DRS on this straight and a pretty simple overtake. Dutch, the next driver, gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And here comes Ramsey into the pit lane. Probably going to go for the set of medium tires, play it safe. And Lord follows him in. Medium tires for the McLaren. No penalties for either. So Tar Heels, Kyle, Dutch are the only drivers, I believe, who have not technically pit.
The Dutch comes in.
Yep, Dutch comes in, follows the other hard runners. So
Goes
really, goes on to the softs. Maybe Dutch trying to steal fastest lap.
I mean, they will last to the end, but they won't be fun.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, they definitely won't be fun by the end. So Dutch comes out just ahead of Craig. Bass a 10-second gap to Cashew. Now, Bass is not going to be. I mean, he could maybe last those tires to the end, but that's
Again, they won't be fun.
no 17 lap old softs is not going to be fun at the end. But Bass is pretty good with his tires. Yeah, 17 laps is really close. So he might go medium soft because he only did use one set.
Yeah, that is a potential move.
So he might pit on lap 20 and then try and chase down Cashew. Because he's got a decent gap to Cashew. 10.9 seconds is pretty hefty. So he would come out 6-7 seconds behind him.
Somewhere around that area.
Kyle has still not gotten into the race. That is so unfortunate for him. He hasn't answered your Discord, though, so maybe something happened and he had to leave. Who knows?
It could be internet just dying.
Yeah, maybe his internet just died, too. So I just realized Ace Edge just gets by Gwen. Gwen goes for the undercut on the Williams that he's been racing. So I assume Ace is probably going to be in within the next lap to try and counter that undercut. So Kyle and Tar Heels, once they pit, everyone will be evened out. So, oof. See, it's unfortunate for Hoop because he is in the position that he would need if he had fastest lap. Tar Heels and Kyle ahead of him do need to pit. So if he gets passed by Ramsey and Lord, he would still be P5. And if he does put on the softs and gets fastest lap, he might be able to steal it. It's going to be close. He's got to focus on keeping these mediums going. I think he's going to probably put the softs on like lap 27, 28, lap 27, just because you never know. Could be a safety car.
Yeah,
it does happen. It's a hard track to get it to, but
apparently has 8 seconds to Lord, so has about 3 seconds if you
yeah.
penalty.
And he will get that penalty removed if he pits. So, if anything, him pitting will probably help him. Craig, another 3-second time penalty. That puts him to 6 now, so that would actually put him dead last because of the penalties. So Bass has pushed the gap to Cashew to like it's around 11 seconds. It's been hovering around there for a little bit. So I don't think Bass is going to be able to gain any more time on Cashew, but if he pits within the next 2 laps, he won't really lose time to him either, apart from pitting. What is helping
Yeah, the
Hoop
lap
though
time
is
was
that
very similar.
yeah, what is helping Hoop is that Kyle is out of the race basically because he hasn't pit and he's about to pass him. So, because Kyle is out of the race, it does technically push him up one position, like just like that. I'll tell you what, I'm surprised Kyle's car hasn't actually come into the pit lane. He may have set himself up for a medium soft strategy, which is why he hasn't pit yet. Unfortunately, Hoop is going to get by Kyle before the DRS straight, so he won't get a little bit bonus time. Oh, and we have a spin from a Haas. I do think that is Gwen. Just on the fresh mediums as well. Spins in that tricky sector 2. I think that's turn 8.
Yeah, exit on turn 8.
Yeah, you can lose
Very
traction
easy to
there
get
very,
power.
yeah, very easily.
Rams on the back of Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle still not back, so unfortunately it's going to be a relatively easy pass for Ramsey and a little bit of DRS. I tell you what though, Lord has not been able to keep up with Ramsey's pace, so he's still around 8 seconds back of Hoop. And Tar Heels is probably going to have to pit. Tar Heels may go for softs as well, so... Oh, and Craig with another 5-second time penalty as he comes into the pit to probably serve his first one. Not
Yeah.
the greatest night for Craig on penalties, but it happens.
I mean, it is 2:30 a.m. for him
Yeah,
currently,
he's
so
he's probably a very sleepy man right now. So
looked at the clock.
absolutely
It's 3:30 a.m.
no shade thrown to that man. He is probably on very little sleep at this point. And Bass is in,
Yep.
going for
So
the second set of softs. Cashew is about to blow by right. Oh, he goes onto the mediums. He didn't have a fresh pair of softs. And he's. Oh, okay, a little bit of lag. It showed him just sitting in the pit lane for a second there. I was like, is he serving a penalty? What's going on there? So Tar
yeah,
Heels has actually been caught up by Hoop and Ramsey, and obviously GK is going to be right in front of them. So I think Hoop's best course of interest here is to get by Tar Heels and then hope he pits. And then Hoop can pit a little bit later and try and steal fastest lap. 1:31.776, I think, was the fastest lap. So it's like it's a pretty slow qualifying lap for Hoop to set, basically, but because the track is so different compared to qualifying, he is going to push the car to basically no fuel. Ramsey right on Hoop's diffuser there. Wow. Surprised they didn't make contact.
it'll be interesting to see how much Tar Heels fights this. Obviously, defending can be very enticing, but sometimes you gotta know when to pick your fights.
So I think I was a bit wrong on the pit stop there. GK is 12 seconds back of Cashew. On fresh mediums though, we know Bass is fast. And I mean obviously the hards at lap 8 for Cashew, they're about setting in to where they're going to be probably their best. Hoop has gotten by Tar Heels. Ramsey just behind him. I don't think he's going to make the move now. Tar Heels actually lets him by. Tar Heel's not risking it. I think he's going into the pits now. Yes, he is. He's going to slap on those softs.
Oh, I could see it from a mile off.
Oh, and the 5-second penalty. So that, if anything, helps out Hoop a little bit more because if he pits again, he's going to be around the same time as Tar Heels. And Hoop's going to be able to get rid of his 5-second. Hoop will not. Or Tar Heels will not. Hoop will be able to. So Northern Canuck just gets by. Tar Heels is going to be just ahead of Dutch, who is on slightly older softs. Ace is in on the softs at well. Oh, Hoop is probably not liking that he has to get fastest lap from a lot of these drivers that are throwing on the softs.
Yeah, if I'm in Hoop's shoes at this point, I'm probably just latching on to Ramsey to carry me to P4 because
Yeah, because Lord is
Ramsey is fast enough to.
5.6. Yeah, 5.6
Yeah,
behind. So yeah, he either risks losing P4 and losing it, or he drops down purposely, falls to about where Kyle is, or no, about where Northern Canuck is, and then he's got to hopefully not get GK Bass sets the slightly faster lap, a 1:31.6. That's a tenth quicker than the previous fastest lap. Bass has not made the time he needs to get up to Cashew, though. He's only made up around 2 seconds. Oh yeah, it's gonna be close for Hoop. It's at 5.5. He is being pulled by DRS though, so it does help, but Lord does have those slightly better tires. It's gonna be a tough decision for Hoop to make, because if Lord gets within that 5 second gap like pretty solidly, I think he's gonna be forced to try and go for the fastest lap.
yeah, and it's
And
looking likely. But what Hoop has to remember as well is that because Hoop's tires is probably around 30% right now,
yeah,
Lord is gonna reach
he's
that
gonna reach that pretty
35%.
soon. Unfortunately, oh yeah, Hoop has fallen way out of DRS from Ramsey, so he's got no DRS help anymore.
Yeah. He's gonna
Ace,
wait
I'm
until
gonna
Lord's tires
I'm
goes
gonna
up.
pay attention to Ace here. Oh, he's run into traffic. This may hurt his fastest lap attempt. He was 3/10 up going into sector one, but he's got a slow Dr. J in front of him. So that is gonna hurt Ace's first attempt at fastest lap. He may be able to go for another one. Oh, and Bass with a 1:31.3 pushes the fastest lap margin slightly further. Hoop
Yeah,
and
close
Hoop's in.
by.
Hoop is in. He is gone for the fastest lap attempt. Oh, and this 5 second is gonna hurt him because he's gonna get passed by Tar Heels. Oh, and there is a yellow flag. Dr. J has spun. No caught or no yellow flag. No safety car.
Yeah, spun on
Throws
turn
on
11.
the tire. Kyle will have to pit because his AI has not pit yet, and it's gone 22 laps on hards.
Pretty impressive job, to be honest.
Yeah, so Tar Heels has the 5 second time penalty. Hoop is 7 seconds back of Northern Canuck. He's got seven. He's got 6 laps to get fastest lap. He's got free track. He's got to save ERS though. He's got to save as much ERS as he can throughout this lap. Ace gets by Hines. Actually, no, he hasn't. Side by side, no ERS for Ace. Does have the
Sends outside.
way better tire though, so he gets that done. Oh, and
Yeah.
Hoop is flying right now. Has already made up a second on Northern Canuck. Northern Canuck slightly falling back from Tar Heels. I am going to stay on board with Hoop when he starts this next lap because this lap coming up is going to make or break if he can steal P2 in the constructors or drivers standings. I don't think there's not really any super close battles apart from Ace and Gwen, who I just caught going inside Ace. Ace has the better tires, but he's got no ERS. Gwen doesn't have much either.
And then
Oh,
outside
Ace
is
goes for the
better.
switchback. These two have been battling basically all race, and they're gonna continue it. Dutch and Dr. J are fighting as well. The Dutch gets by him on the fresh softs. Ace on the inside. Oh, Gwen, a little bit of sliding, taps the side of Ace. No harm, no foul. Ace with DRS should hold that with DRS, so I'm going to stay on board with Hoop. This is his best opportunity to steal fastest lap. The tires are as fresh as they can be. Up 4/10 on his fastest time. I don't know what his fastest time is. I wish I could look at that. But Hoop may catch Northern Canuck in time to maybe get DRS on the final straight. It's going to be close. He's not going to get it on this straight. I don't think anyone who has set fastest lap has had DRS either. Hoop may go for another lap, because if he has a full straight line of DRS from Northern Canuck, that may be his best opportunity to get fastest lap. He's up 5/10 on his lap. He's got to get higher than a 1:31.330. Can he do it? And then he's obviously got to get by the cars in front of him. Tar Heels with the 5-second time penalty. Here he comes. He's going to get DRS. He's going to push ERS. Oh, and it's not enough. A 1:31.8, up 9/10. But he does have DRS down this whole main straight. He's not going to have the Oh, and he goes wide. He goes wide. Is he? I don't think he's going to be up on time, because Canuck steals the DRS from there, and Hoop just sends the car a bit too much. Yeah, he's down a second. I think Hoop's best opportunity is to hope someone ahead spins. Salatosser and Ainz are scrapping. Salatosser gets ahead. Ainz is on really old mediums.
Up P6.
6.4 seconds away from P5. Oh, Hoop is gonna hate himself if he gets P5 without fastest lap. That is gonna be tragic. Yeah, his best opportunity is hopefully someone DNFs ahead of him, but that is probably not going to happen. I have just caught that Bass's gap to Cashew is now 4.3 seconds.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. It's been trickling down.
It's trickling down. There's 4 laps to go. Well, 3.5. He's gonna get a serving of DRS from the Ferrari ahead of him when they get to the main straight. It's possible for Bass, because the hards are reaching what, near 50% now, probably 14 laps.
Yeah, it's gonna be 45, I think.
Bass has probably hit the 25% mark for the mediums already.
Yeah, almost had higher as well.
Yeah. But he is going to get some DRS down the straight, so it should net him probably 2/3.
Yeah.
He is going to get it. So let's see how much he gained. He's going to get probably under 4 seconds. And that Ferrari ahead of him is actually really quick, so he's going to get another serving of DRS. Oh, but Cashew is just so... Oh! And... Oh my god, so many... Oh no! Oh, and Bass into the wall. He didn't DNF, though. And that... No wing damage either. And that is Bass's attempt gone. I think he probably just got a little bit fuzzled by Craig being in front of him. Yeah, he had a big snap of oversteer trying to push as far as he could, and I think that's Bass's attempt at getting P1 over. Hoop is now within the 5-second penalty of Tar Heels.
Yeah. Dr. J is actually making a move down the inside.
See, now, if Ramsey was listening to the stream, which I know he is, do you think Ramsey wants to get fastest lap and lose a position to Hoop?
I mean...
Because, at this point, Ramsey doesn't really care about, I mean, he cares about where he finishes, but you know damn well that enticement of, ooh, can I get fastest lap? Because he's 16 seconds ahead of Lord, and then there's an 8 second gap to Tar Heels, but I don't think he's gonna go for it.
He
The
does
only
that.
the only chance Hoop has of making up another position is if one of these drivers goes for fastest lap, and Lord is the next only driver that would be able to do it, and he does not. So unless
Yeah.
something happens to one of these drivers, Hoop is gonna miss out. Actually, he's gonna be tied with Carson, but because Carson has won a race and he has not, that is gonna push him down one position. And that is,
Countback system.
yep. Little,
That's how Justin lost a championship.
ayoy.
I think even it was like most P2s and P3s.
Oh, that's so rough.
Yeah.
The closest battle on track right now is Kyle, but he is ghosted still, and Ines is probably gonna. I mean, Ines is on really old medium tires, but Ines is actually driving his car, and unfortunately, Kyle is not. Cashew about to start the final lap of the race. We kind of predicted that. He would kind of maybe soar away, even starting last. And maybe Bass's decision to go a two-stop maybe costed him a chance at the win. We don't know. But he was really close, had a big snap of oversteer on lap 26. Lost about 4 seconds, so who knows? Hoop is within those 5 seconds of Tar Heels that will put him in the P5 he needed, but not the fastest lap that he needed. And because of the finishing position of Bass and Ramsey, I do believe that they are going to overtake AlphaTauri in the championship, even though Cashew is winning the race for AlphaTauri, but Northern Canuck is in P7, so not enough combined points gain for both of them. Actually, come to think of it, where are the Alfa Romeos? Hoop and I think Aston Martin are actually going to jump up to P4 in the constructors. Ferrari are going to be able to hold it. Is Ferrari? Nope. Ferrari has not had a great day, and Cashew wins. GK Bass comes home. He made up like 1.8 seconds in that final lap, so what could have been if he didn't have that spin? Ramsey gets the final podium position. Lord in his debut, I believe. If nothing happens, if nothing happens here, he's going to bring it home with a strong P4 position. Red Bull, because of Tar Heels, is strong P5 position. Well, it's going to be P6, but no matter what, that is going to secure P2 for Red Bull in the constructors. And Hoop gets P5, does not get the fastest lap he needed. Northern Canuck will come home. Yeah, you had a fantastic comeback drive, Ramsey. That's why I was like, when I suggested, oh, is he going to go for fastest lap? Nah, he had a comeback drive. He's not going to give up the podium for that. Gwen, strong race from him, battling Ace the entire way. Salatosher gets the final P10 position. Oh my god, look at the cars racing here. I didn't catch this. Ines, Kyle, and Dutch. And that is the end of Midweek's first season, ending it at Bahrain. Oh, poor Hoop. What could have beens that race? What if Hoop got fastest lap? What if Bass didn't have his moment on lap 26? Ramsey, if he didn't spin... Ramsey, what happened to you? Did you get tapped by Ace, or did you just spin? Because, like, we kind of caught it, but we kind of didn't, and, like, Ace was really close, so we weren't exactly sure where or what happened between you two. I mean, I kind of assumed it looked like you kind of just spun from the way you spun anyway, but I don't know. But with these final positions, Cashew does complete the first to last challenge. Brings home the win for AlphaTauri, but does not hold P5. Actually, you look at something. What's the difference between Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri? 20 points. Huh. I think with Cashew winning and Northern Canuck being in P7, I actually... Oh, and Heinz coming P11. It's going to be close. I actually don't know if AlphaTauri overtook Alfa Romeo there. I actually don't know. It's really close on points.
28 plus. Where did the other finish?
Canuck finished in, or the Alfa Romeo. Heinz finished P11.
That's 38 points.
So they
70
70 to 38. So that is a 32 point gap.
Yes.
So that would Alfa Romeo to AlphaTauri. Yes. They do. So AlphaTauri does jump Alfa Romeo. And then Aston Martin jumps AlphaTauri. So Alfa Romeo goes from P4 to P6. Ouch.
Ooh.
And they didn't even have that bad of a game. Or game. What the fuck? Bad race. Bad game. Ugh.
English is rough.
Yeah, English is hard. It's not like it's my mother language or anything, you know? But yeah, that is... I mean, do we try and do interviews? Because... I don't know, because like... Who do we interview? Do we interview the top 3 in the race, or do we interview the top 3 in the championship?
I mean, you are already here.
I mean, yeah, I'll interview myself. Let's see. I'll ask. Craig wants to do an interview. His big reserve night. Who waved? Was it Ramsey? Lord Pax. Who is Lord Pax?
That's probably Lordson, Rob.
Fair enough.
Deduction skills.
Yep. Deduction skills. I mean, ideally, I would want to get either Hoop or like the top 3 in the race. I'll just tag them. Oh, we can't even interview Ramsey because he's not on PlayStation. Is GK on PlayStation?
He is.
Okay. I know Hoop is on PlayStation.
I mean, you can answer the question, how does it feel to finally win a championship after being so close in Tier 1 2 times?
I mean, it wasn't even really that close the second time, because, like... Fucking Morris. Anyone want to do interviews? I would, but I'm not online. This guy, fucking imposter. If they don't answer by 58, I'm getting off.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I mean, it's not even that late for me, and it's like 3 in the morning for you, fuck.
Try 4 a.m.
I better have some great questions. Damn right I have good questions. Beauties. All right, GK and Ramsey want to do interviews. Will Hoop want to do an interview? Get familiar with the Canadian anthem. Do I have Bass added? I think I have Bass added. I might not. You might. You might have to invite him.
I can invite him.
Oh, Hoop.
Players. GK Bass invite. Invite Ramsey as well.
Yeah, he's gonna hop on the PS app, I think. Well, we'll get 2 final season interviews, which is good at least.
I've sent them the invites.
All right, and now we wait. Oh, so Ace did make contact with Ramsey on the early laps, and he had wing damage.
Ah, that's rough.
Ramsey asked to send it again.
Yeah. So, players.
So there's Ramsey.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sweet. I've never done this on a phone.
Yeah, honestly, you don't even sound that bad on the phone. I've heard worse.
Well, that's just my immaculate and perfect voice.
Okay, buddy. Recovers from last and thinks he's all that, eh?
Hello.
No.
Hello?
Hello.
It's late. It's late. Very late.
Is that Bass? I didn't even see the join.
Yeah.
All right. So Bass was higher position, so we will start with Mr. Ramsey. I was gonna ask you what happened on the early laps when you spun, but Ace did say in the chat that he tapped your rear end, and I do believe he spun you. So apart from that, we caught that on stream, but regardless, you had a fantastic recovery drive up to P3. And like I kind of thought you might have come in for fastest lap because Lord was so far back, but I know you probably didn't want to risk losing the P3. But how'd your race go? Apart from that,
Yeah. I mean, the sudden loss of traction on lap 1 wasn't great, but it was actually more fun that way.
yeah, I actually got to
I
race a
thought
lot of
the was
guys.
pretty good, and I was lucky to get like that DRS ladder kind of
Mm-hmm.
where you keep going from one DRS to
Mm-hmm.
another.
Yeah.
So that was great. Yeah, no, I didn't even think about fastest lap because I saw bases times and I realized I'm not gonna get it. So I think like I used a setup that I used like
A while ago.
in December for a
Yeah.
league race, and I may have left the pressures on like a
bit too high.
quality setup or something.
I mean, regardless, we caught a lot of your moves through the field. I believe, Jesper. We saw him move up through the field. I think we started watching when you got up to P10, and we're like, huh, Ramsey's already at P10, and he spun out like 3 laps ago.
Yeah, I got lucky that I didn't get any damage. And then I think when I got going, I only had like 5 seconds to the car ahead of me.
Hmm.
And you know, on lap 1, 2, they're all fighting quite a bit, so it's easy to catch up.
Fair enough. But yeah, it was fun to see you drive through the field. You and Bass, I do believe, secured Aston Martin P4 in the championship in the constructors. So good job on you guys. You
Yeah, let's
you
go.
made you
Let's
made
go, all my options.
you made Vinny a happy man.
Let's go.
So while we wait for Hoop to join, I will jump to. Oh, never mind. Hoop is here. We're going to put him on the spot. Mr. Hoop, are you there, my man?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Mr. Hoop. What a tragedy, my man. We were watching it the entire race, you jumping from P3 to P7, P6, P5, and you ended up P5, but you were not able to steal fastest lap to jump Carson in the championship. You still had a couple of fun battles with everybody, so tell me how your race went.
Yeah, well, it could have ended better.
It could have ended worse.
Yeah, that too. Basically, I panicked, switched my strategy in the middle of the race.
Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to do a one stop and didn't like how the mediums were feeling and decided to two stop going medium to soft, and which might have worked out, except I was trying to switch my tires in the MFD
And that's who you got the speeding penalty.
pit lane.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that. That was unfortunate. I don't think it would have actually affected anything at the end though, because I think Lord was too far away even without the 5 second. I think he was.
Yeah, I think I might have been 5 seconds short regardless. But always stick with your strategy. This is the lesson I learned today. I think otherwise I might have been able to hang on with the finishing on the hards. But it was fun trying to pick back through the field at the end on softs. That's just how I prefer to race anyway. But
Yeah, you. I remember when you swapped. I remember when you swapped to the softs. I mentioned like that your ERS was like relatively low, which wasn't going to help, and you didn't have any DRS on your fastest lap attempt. So maybe if you had DRS throughout the entire lap, you might have been able to snag it because it was. I think your fastest lap was like 5/10 off of what Bass did.
yeah, and I didn't know how far I was off initially.
I think it was like
Once I
one.
got to the results screen, I was like, I don't know if I would have been able to pull it off anyway. But I think the tie would go to Carson. In my mind, the tie goes to Carson, so I needed a P4 regardless.
Were you gonna tie if you got the fastest lap, or would you have passed him with the fastest lap?
I think I would tie with the fastest.
Oh, okay.
I think I was 29 points off.
Okay, yeah, you would have had to, because I think Carson has won a race this season in midweek, so I think that would have pushed him in the tiebreaker. Because I thought,
just rub it in, Gord.
well, that is okay. That's gonna sound bad when we watch it on stream. But yes, with the tiebreaker, yes, I think Carson would have got you because I thought with the fastest lap you would have jumped him, which is why I was like super like, oh, if Hoop doesn't get the fastest lap, he's gonna hate himself for it. But if you had to get P4, I guess it's a little less like, okay, I wasn't gonna get it regardless. But still, you still had a fantastic season. How many races did you show up to? I think you showed up to a lot of them, right?
I think I showed up to all of them.
Oh, are you? I think me and you may be the only ones who have showed up to every race then. Let me take a look.
I think Canuck probably got into every race as an admin, but other than that, it's just
Yeah, you did. I mean, Vinny said my attendance would be the same since I commentated for tonight. Where's Canuck? Nope, Canuck missed Hungary. So yeah, it was only me and you. Good
Very
stuff.
For me, it's quantity over quality.
I mean, you still had some quality finishes, no?
I'm very happy with how the season turned out. I'm really excited to get the next one underway in midweek and whichever team
Yeah.
they throw me into. So,
Yeah, because you've been reserving for tier 1, right?
Yep, I got 2 races in tier 2,
Okay.
and then they bumped me up to tier 1 to reserve, and had a good time. But I think tier 1's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, I'm not excited for it. I could barely keep up with Morris, and now we got fucking Cashew, who's like faster than him. So great, awesome. But yeah, thanks for joining for the interview, Hoop. It's always nice to chat with the people during the race and see how their season went. And to the final man in the party, Mr. GK. What could have been? I think you might have been able to. I think you might have been able to catch Cashew at the end. You were flying pretty good. You had the double dosing of DRS on lap 26. What did the ghost card like? Just kind of throw you off your line, or did you just have a bit of an oversteer moment?
I would say maybe a mix. It's quite sometimes when you try to overtake those ghosted cars, it kind of
Throws you off a bit.
it does. It really does. And then I ended up like outside on the gravel and just yeah.
Yeah, because me and Jesper said that we thought you were actually lucky you didn't DNF because it looked like you hit the wall decently hard with your tire.
Pretty hard. So yeah, quite
lucky, but
well,
I don't feel lucky.
To put it that way.
I get it.
I didn't know why I decided to go for
the
like
two-stop.
a two-stopper.
Because I said
I think it was more just for trying to make it interesting.
Because I mean, personally, I didn't think Cashew was going to catch you. Because, like, you put on your second... Or I guess because I thought you were going to put on a second pair of softs when you pitted for the second time. But I guess you didn't have another set?
The one was used.
Okay.
And the mediums were fresh, so...
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I could have tried the softs, I guess. But...
Well, no, because when I thought, like, okay, he's going to come out, like, 7-8 seconds behind Cashew with, like, 7-ish laps to go. So I was like, he could definitely... I mean, you were, like, 3.9 before you had your little moment, so...
I think when I got out of the box, it was like 11 seconds, 12?
Yeah, I think I underestimated how long the Bahrain pit lane is because I thought it was a lot shorter.
It's long.
Yeah,
It's very long.
I remember in Australia,
in tier 1,
it was like 19 seconds to pit or
Mm-hmm.
something. And
Yeah,
now
it's
it's like 24 or something.
Oof, yeah, okay. I always forget because like I think like oh you're coming in really quick and like you're exiting on the same straight. It can't be that long, but it's still relatively long.
Like the actual thing is very long. Like
Mhm.
the inside, the slow lane. I don't know
Yeah,
what to call it.
It's a long because once you get by the pit boxes, you still have a good like 50 meters of having to go pit lane speed. Yeah. I guess that adds up, but I mean, regardless, you were still flying out there. That fastest lap in qualifying was fucking bonkers.
Actually, pretty surprising. I've been away from the game a lot lately, and
Well, yeah, you were sick, right?
I was sick.
Yeah, because we missed you in tier 1.
I was actually thinking about trying to catch you in the standings, but
Yeah, because I missed Singapore, and I think I missed the race after that. So I was like, hold on, if Bass races here, he might be able to. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't show up to those races. I think I was available. I'm not sure what happened, but whatever. But overall, yeah, it was a good race from Ramsey. You guys had fantastic races, so you were able to bump Vinny's He said in the chat during the stream, he was like, "Hold on, who put Bass in my admin car? Who decided this?"
Aston Martin is actually my favorite team, so
Oh, there you go.
it's always a pleasure to
Yeah, because you raced Aston in Tier 1, right? I think that was the team that
I
you
try
got.
to pick it every season if I get the chance.
Fair enough. Good man. It's a very good looking car, I'll be honest. But yeah, thanks for Ramsey, Bass, and Hoop for joining us for Midweek's finale interviews. It's been a fantastic season. Obviously, I'm not biased or anything, but it's been a great season from everyone who's participated. And congrats to, obviously, Hoop for getting P3 in the championship. Congrats on Ramsey for his comeback drive. Hopefully he's able to show up a little bit more next season so we can race a little bit more. And yeah, that's been me and Jesper for midweek tier on Wednesdays at 8:30. Hopefully we will see you guys very soon. I'm sure the admins are cooking up something nice for the next season that are coming out. And hopefully we can all see you guys soon. So it has been Gourd Sauce and obviously Jesper. Jesper can say his little goodbyes as well, because I know he wants to.
Yeah, obviously, I think Cher leaked that it was gonna be a little bit of a change for season 10.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they are cooking a little bit in the chats.
Interesting,
I guess
because
we'll have to wait and see.
I know they told me that the realistic races were actually really popular.
Yeah,
At least the midweek race that we did was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
So curious if they're maybe going to throw that in, maybe some reverse grids like they did as well. But hopefully that gets announced really soon. But as we've said, I have been Gourd Sauce for the finale of Midweek alongside Jesper. Thanks for the 3 drivers for joining us in the interviews. And hopefully we see you guys soon. Thank you for watching and have a good one.